Have you ever realized that time is the secret ingredient? See, in the world that we're in today, we feel like everything needs to happen immediately. Immediately. Everything needs to happen immediately. You need to be an immediate success. You need to immediately build friends. You need to immediately build your mailing list. You need to immediately have thousands of followers on X. Everything needs to be immediate. But that's not the way the world works. The way the world works is that it requires time. Here's another example. You don't eat one day, and the next day you expect to have lost a bunch of weight. It doesn't necessarily work that way. Our bodies, the world, everything around us needs time to change. And that's one of the things that we really need to build, is the ability to be patient. It's so difficult in this world. In fact, it's been difficult, and it's getting more and more difficult with our attention spans being as short as they are. We are all craving immediate, instant results. And when we don't get instant results, and of course, generative AI is not helping that, right? I mean, you type in a phrase, boom, a couple seconds later, you get the result you want. Time just disappears. But the reality is that you can't just expect things to happen immediately. Everything takes time. I'll give you another example. I was talking with a friend of mine on one of my other podcasts, and we were talking about sun and light and vitamin D. And he was mentioning that a lot of us who don't spend a lot of time in the sun, we take supplements to allow us to have enough vitamin D, because there's a certain amount of vitamin D that we need in our bodies. But as it turns out, our bodies can actually generate our own vitamin D from sun exposure. And the problem is that you can go out in the sun and you expect vitamin D to just be generated every time you go out in the sun. But if your body has not been acclimated to generate vitamin D when you go out in the sun, then it's incredibly difficult for you to generate vitamin D when you're out in the sun. It takes time. So maybe you go out for 5 minutes one day, 10 minutes the next day, but you have to keep on doing it, and everything compounds on top of everything else. And time spent, the more and more time that you spend doing a thing, the more and more likely you will get to the goals you want. It works the same thing for a lot of things. Compound interest. It works the same for friendship and trust. There's people who go to meetups feeling that they're going to be able to have lifelong friends after one meetup, when it doesn't work that way, because people will show up, they won't show up. It's continuous, repeated connection that allows you to build that trust and that friendship with other people. It's the same thing with sales. When you're trying to pitch a product to somebody, do you talk to them once about it? No. You have to talk to them repeatedly over and over again in a long drip of email after email after email, or call after call after call. They need to be exposed to something over and over and over again before they might realize that, hey, this might be something that I might be interested in. So time is a secret ingredient that we all forget. We all think we can become successful overnight, we can become healthy overnight, we can lose our weight overnight. Now, all these things can just happen overnight. But the reality is that behind all of this overnight success in any of these things, time has been taken to get to the end goal. And we forget that too often. So let's all be a little more patient and think about focused time and effort towards the goals that you're trying to reach. And once you've piled on, compounded the time that you've put into something to reach that goal, then maybe you'll be able to hit that weight loss. Maybe you'll be able to hit that number of followers. Maybe you'll be able to hit that level of sales. Time is the secret ingredient. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.